The Prelude by William Wordsworth. Book 6. On the vague reading of a truant youth, 'twere idle to descant. My inner judgment not seldom differed from my taste in books, as if it appertained to another mind. And yet the books which then I valued most are dearest to me now. For, having scanned, not heedlessly, the laws, and watched the forms of nature, in that knowledge I possessed a standard, often usefully applied, even when unconsciously, to things removed from a familiar sympathy. In fine, I was a better judge of thoughts than words, misled in estimating words, not only by common inexperience of youth, but by the trade in classic niceties, the dangerous craft of culling term and phrase from languages that want the living voice to carry meaning to the natural heart, to tell us what is passion, what is truth, what reason, what simplicity and sense. Yet may we not entirely overlook the pleasure gathered from the rudiments of geometric science. Though advanced in these inquiries, with regret I speak, no farther than the threshold. There I found both elevation and composed delight. With Indian awe and wonder, ignorance pleased with its own struggles, did I meditate on the relation those abstractions bear to nature's laws, and by what process led those immaterial agents bowed their heads duly to serve the mind of earth-born man. From star to star, from kindred sphere to sphere, from system onto system without end. More frequently, from the same source, I drew a pleasure quiet and profound, a sense of permanent and universal sway, and paramount belief. There, recognized a type for finite natures of the one supreme existence, the surpassing life which, to the boundaries of space and time, of melancholy space and doleful time, superior and incapable of change, nor touched by welterings of passion, is and hath the name of God. Transcendent peace and silence did await upon these thoughts that were a frequent comfort to my youth. 'Tis told by one whom stormy waters threw with fellow sufferers by the shipwreck spared upon a desert coast, that having brought to land a single volume, saved by chance, a treatise of geometry, he wont, although of food and clothing destitute, and beyond common wretchedness depressed, to part from company and take his book, then first a self-taught pupil in its truths, to spots remote, and draw his diagrams with a long staff upon the sand, and thus did oft beguile his sorrow, and almost forget his feeling. So, if like effect from the same cause produced, mid outward things so different, may rightly be compared, so was it then with me, and so will be with poets ever. Mighty is the charm of those abstractions to a mind beset with images and haunted by herself, and specially delightful unto me was that clear synthesis, built up aloft so gracefully. Even then, when it appeared not more than a mere plaything, or a toy to sense embodied, not the thing it is in verity, an independent world, created out of pure intelligence. Such dispositions, then, were mine unearned by aught, I fear, of genuine desert, mine through heaven's grace and inborn aptitudes. And, not to leave the story of that time imperfect, with these habits must be joined moods melancholy, fits of spleen that loved a pensive sky, sad days and piping winds, the twilight more than dawn, autumn than spring, a treasured and luxurious gloom of choice and inclination mainly, and the mere redundancy of youth's contentedness. To time thus spent, add multitudes of hours pilfered away, by what the bard who sang of the enchanter indolence hath called good-natured lounging, and behold a map of my collegiate life, far less intense than duty called for, or, without regard to duty, might have sprung up of itself by change of accidents, or even, to speak without unkindness, in another place. Yet why take refuge in that plea? The fault, this I repeat, was mine. Mine be the blame.